One of the harbingers of the agile-pocalypse is famine. And famine manifests in organizations by lacking something. People, teams, groups, leaders, products, we don't have the things we need in order to be successful. And quite often that's because of one of the other harbingers, the top-down management structure. But we effectively don't have what we need. We're either starved of trust in our teams, in our organization, so people can't do the things that they need to do because nobody believes that they'll do it, right? They might have starved for money, right? Quite often in organizations, you need somebody high enough in the organization to approve the spending of money. But what if that person's high enough in the organization that they actually don't give a shit about the problem, right? They actually don't care. They're just looking at their budget and going, it's not in my budget for this year, so no, I'm not going to sign off on that. Yeah, but what's the actual real cost of making that decision? What's the impact on the people doing the work, on the customer of making that decision? It's not in my budget for this year is not a good answer to that, and it results in that famine. We don't have the stuff we need. Do the people in your organization have the training they need? I work with an organization in Spain, a couple of organizations in Spain, where every single member of the organization, every employee, has their own budget for training. They decide how they want to spend it. If they want to spend it on some agile training, or they want to group together and buy some training together, or they want to spend it on technical training, or on whatever they want, they're able to spend it on whatever they want. It's their budget that they get to spend. They're not starved for things that they need. They have the ability to get the things that they need. How do you do that in your organization? I'm working with an organization at the moment that I needed a piece of software as a consultant, helping this organization in order to facilitate. I needed a license for a particular piece of software, and I had to go on and request that license. I made that request 2.5 weeks ago. I escalated it a week ago. There's a little escalation button on the page where you can request it. So I escalated it after a week of nothing happening. And I still don't have a license for that software. I still don't have access to that thing. What is the cost and impact of that delay, right? What is the cost and impact to the organization of me not being able to provide the services that I could be providing to people inside of the organization? What is the cost of all the people that I would be providing those services to that can't get those services because there's a fundamental piece of the puzzle missing? There's a blocker in the way of actually doing work. So famine is all about those things that make sure that people don't have the things they need. It's not deliberate, right? These policies, somebody didn't go, let's make sure people don't have the stuff they need. Nobody did that, right? They were looking at somebody at a level who's, I guess we would traditionally call them bean counters, right? The bean counters are looking the amount of money something costs, and they want to restrict access to that thing so it doesn't cost more. This could be travel, this could be software, this could be training, it could be anything. But who are the people that understand the most about what is needed in order to maximize the success of the organization? A great example of this is one of the organizations that I worked with for training. They're a very big manufacturer, or car manufacturer, and they had a circumstance in their organization where a machine, I don't know what the machine was doing, but the machine was creating something for the production line, for the cars, for the parts, right? And it was no longer operating in a way that it needed to operate. It was too old. No matter how much repair you did, it wasn't going to be able to actually do the things. They had to do a ton of workarounds to make it actually suit the needs of the business. And that machine really needed upgrading to the newer version of that machine that supported more capability, that had more was able to do more stuff more cheaply, more effectively, faster. And the person who runs the machine did follow the business procedures and wrote the business case for it. Sent it up the chain, and it got to somebody who was looking at their budget and says, nope, I don't have $2 million in my budget for this new machine, so scratch it off. And when they finally figured out that one of the major problems they had was this machine was making defective and inaccurate parts, they found that it actually cost the organization over $1 billion in lost revenue, in having to rework things, in fixing stuff in production. If you can imagine, if you have to recall a car or a model of car because something's wrong with it fundamentally, what's that going to cost you down the line? But it wasn't in this bloke's budget. But do you think that bloke had the power to approve a $2 billion or $1 billion loss for the company? No, nobody has that power to be able to do that. But they can block the thing that might result. If it's blocked, it might result in that. So what they did as an organization, this particular organization, is they pushed responsibility for spending money down to the people who were best placed to make the decision. Anybody in the organization, no matter how low you are, can approve any needed expense of any amount for doing your job. You might need to validate it afterwards, right? It's almost like you're pre-approved to expense it, but then you still have to write the business case. You still have to say, this is why we bought this. This is what it was for. This is why it was needed. This was the impact, right? You still have to do all of those due diligence-y things, but you're not blocked from solving the problem. What's causing famine in your organization? Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow, and subscribe. I always reply to comments, and if you want to have a chat about this or anything else Agile, Scrum, or DevOps, then please book a coffee with me through Naked Agility.